So if a kid shuts down during a math lesson, what's happening here when the child freezes or avoids math and gives up quickly before even trying? Would you consider this like a stress response? And if so, like, what's the best way to go about it?
So I think this brings up an interesting topic of like trauma-informed education. And I think, again, this is kind of like a newer thing that we're starting to address. Most children have experienced some sort of trauma. I know that's sad. Most children have experienced some sort of trauma. I'm not saying like major trauma, but whether that's feeling like they're not good enough or they're stressed or they've switched schools a bunch of times or home life isn't great, whatever that is, there's something that when they start to feel like they're gonna be wrong or they don't know the answer, the panic sets in.
Mm-hmm.
And once a kid shuts down emotionally, there's absolutely no learning happening. That's just the reality of it. Like that fight or flight panic mode, it's a hard stop on the processing, on the learning side.
Right. On that, I think I've been on like the other side of that end actually when I've tutored like especially younger kids. I've noticed this more with younger kids more than like high school students as well, but I think like younger kids they do tend to get like stressed out really quickly and they shut down completely. And I this has happened to me a couple times actually where like a student will shut down and since I am in a tutoring session with them, I will just sit there and I will just let the student like be to themselves for a little because sometimes that's all they need is someone to be with them while they're in this moment of stress, right? So, one on one attention really changes learning, and we may notice differences when a child has someone fully focused on their pace and understanding. So, feeling seen is honestly a big part as well. Would you say so as well? Like,
Yeah, and I think you touched on an important topic, which is co-regulation, especially with young children. Like they don't have emotional regulation, at least not fully developed, and they are dependent on you for co-regulation. And I think, unfortunately, we see too often parents get frustrated, and they start to build on their child's stress and it's like, even with babies, like the baby is crying, so I'm freaking out, and she cries more, and I'm stressed, and it builds and builds. And so, like, one thing that I always remind myself as an educator, as a parent, is the best thing that I can do is stay completely calm. So,
yeah,
let's say you're in a tutoring session and this child's not getting it and they're getting frustrated. The worst thing you can do in that moment is be like, I don't know why you're not getting it. Like, that's the worst thing that you could do. What you need to do is take a deep breath yourself, remind them again that learning is a process. And honestly, for some kids, you might need to just skip that question, move on, do something else, do something maybe that you're sure they will be successful in because if they're constantly working, and they're not feeling like they're getting anywhere, like it's so easy to burn out. And I think we've all experienced that as adults in life. Like you're working super hard and nobody's recognizing it and you're not making any progress. Like, why do you want to keep doing it? And it's the same way with kids. If I have 20 math questions to do and I just cannot get any of them, like, why would I try? I'm not going to get even close to all of them. So breaking it down into being like, okay, this one, we're not getting this one right now. Let's do this one. That's a little bit different. I always avoid the word easier because the second that you tell a kid, oh, then you couldn't get this one, let's do something easier, done, game over. They
right.
don't feel like they're not smart enough. But going with the, hey, let's try this different thing. Let's look at this a different way. That can be really helpful.